Hello everyone to our fourth session on learning Python. So today we will learn an important and very interesting notion, which is variables. Variables are very important and very basic notion in programming. Practically, we cannot, it is impossible to find a code without variables. So, what is this variables and how can we define them? That's what we will see this in this session. So, if we suppose that there is someone who is called Bob, so we can create a name with string that is Bob, like that, like that we have seen yesterday. So we can write like that, Bob, but it is not practically to write this word or maybe a sentence or maybe a lot of numbers each time. So we have to refer it by a variable. So to do that, we have to write right here the variable that we want to use. So for example, we'll name it Bob name, for example. So the name of variable here is not don't have quotation marks or apostrophes. So it is the variable is just the word, but the value of this variable, if it is a string, we must to put the quotation marks. Good. So here we have defined the name of Bob by this variable Bob name. If we want to print it, it is now possible. So we will write just the name of the variable and we will have the value of this variable. So Bob name. Good. This is the name of Bob. So this is how it works. So this is how we work. So we can also write another variable with the same technique. So here we will begin with the name of the variable. For example, Bob age, for example. So and we'll give it a value that is a number, an integer, for example 45. So if now we print the age of Bob as a variable Bob age, we will have the value which is his age. Good. Another variable, for example Bob tall, for example. Why tall? Because we will use float numbers, for example 1.65 meter, for example, and if we want to print it, no problem, tall. Good. This is so here we have learned how to create a variable. Now we will see how to use it. So for example, we can add numbers to this tall or to this age, because tall it is impossible to change by addition. So for example, of course, I am speaking about the notion of tall, not in programming. In programming, if I wrote Bob tall plus a number, it will work. But I am here. I am speaking only about the concept of tall, which is practically invariable. Good. So Bob age plus, for example, let's see, 3 years, for example. We will see. So remember that the age of Bob is 45. when we will add 3, that will be 48. Good. So we can use variables as we use its or their values. So we can, of course, write 45 plus 3, but we have seen here that we can also use the name of this variable in our operations. Very good. Um, we can also change the values of our variable. For example, 45, we can change it to 40 without any problem, and it still works. So 40. So if we change the values, the variables also change and update the new value of its variable. Good. So here we cannot inverse this process. We cannot begin with the value and after that give the variable. For example, we cannot write 5 equal Bob weighs, for example. It is not correct. So if we try to print it, that will give us a problem. So we will have nothing because the program say that can't assign to literal on line 4, which is a syntax error. What that means? That means that 5 cannot change its value because the program interprets this scripts as 5 has a new value, which is impossible in Python. So in Python we begin with the name of the variable and after that we give it its value. Good. So what can we also see? For example, we can see another example. For example, I will give you 3 variables and pi, and I will give them 3 values. For example, x equal 5, y equal 6.7, and pi of course is 3.1415. So this process is called by packing. So we have 3 variables which we are packing with 3 values. So if we want to have their values, so x, y, pi will print these values. We will have them here. If we want just to print or to return just one value, it is also possible, and this process is called unpacking. So packing and unpacking. Of course, we can use these variables in doing some arithmetics operation. For example, we know that the diameter, the length of the circle is given by this relation. For example, d equal 2 times y. For example, we will use the value of y pi. So here what I mean that I have a circle that have a radius which equal y, and I want to calculate the length of its of its encounter. So if I want to have the value of this operation, I will just write here D. But before that, we will use also x in another operation. So we will now calculate the surface of another circle with a radius x. X of course is 5 and y is 6.7. So the surface of a circle is of course x to the power of 2. No, of course we have to use brackets, multiple by pi. Good, so we can print the two values here and we will see them. Good, so the first value is D and the second is S. So we have used the variables in doing this arithmetics math or arithmetics operations. A final point is if we want to use a special words in Python. So in Python we have what we call the keywords. For example, if, for example, while, for example, true. So there is many or some words that are called keywords and that we cannot give a value, we cannot change. So if, while, true and also the numbers, for example 1, these words cannot be assigned a values. So if we try to do this, is if we try to give to if a value, for example 4, this will not be accepted by Python. So we will try to print if and we will have nothing. So it is a syntax error, bad input on line 1 in MindPy. So it is impossible. Good, so this is what we have today. So we have seen what is a variable, how to create a variable and how to use it in our program. So I hope that this lesson has given you some important information that you can use in your works. If you have any comments, you can let them in the comments and do not forget to share this video with your friends